were treating suspects, e.g. always asking if they have any medical conditions or if they have any mental illnesses. This act is consultative because they have listened to what both officers and suspects have said and have made a compromise. Fire Service and Rescue Act 2004. This sets out a variety of duties and powers which fire and rescue authorities can promote fire safety and respond to fires, road traffic, accidents and emergencies. This is participated because they can provide different needs for different communities. This is participated leader because before this act was created they would have taken the view of both public and the fire officers about what's right for them. And that's it for authority.
Authority is important because, especially in public services, it, like sort of the day-to-day activities, it's like if you've been told to do something and you follow through, that's conformity. And to have it in the public services is so needed. It's like, you know, for example, the main thing it's used in, and the same with obedience, is the forces. I mean, if you think, like Rav mentioned earlier with the army, it's, if you've been told to do something, you're going to go through with it and do as you're told and follow through with the order. And that's how conformity works, and that's basically what conformity is. And that's why it's so important, because it keeps people in line. Because obviously, if you've been given an order by a person high ranking in the army, you're going to do it because that's what you're there for. And if we didn't have conformity there to put people in place, we wouldn't have a system of where people are doing as they're told and getting on with the orders that are given to them. So even if they've been told to wash the floor, or they go through it because they've been told what to do by a higher ranking. So it's respect for the higher authority and its conformity. That's basically what conformity is. It's just having it there in place to go through with. And having conformity in public services is a great advantage about bringing people together as a team. So you can say in the police, it's the same thing, being told what to do and getting on with it, and that's the whole point of having it. Another thing about conformity is about bringing people together. So like making bonds and making teams extra tight and make sure they can work together as a team because of conformity. Because a good example is like of gangs, because if you're in the police, quite a lot of them are smartly dressed, they have haircuts, quite short, they all look professional, and if you're a person who looks out of the ordinary, who doesn't do that, you might be kicked out of that social team, and that's what we are. It's a social community. That happens quite a lot, and having conformity within public services gives that extra sort of bonding experience that people can have to make teams, like for example in the police and in the army, where they can come together as one and make it a hell of a lot easier for them to all bond together. And that's why having conformity in the public service is so keen and so important. It's because it brings people together as a team and makes them a lot stronger. And it's the same thing in paramedics, because obviously you're dealing with sterile environment, so it's advised that you stay clean shaven and hygienic, and if you're not, you're going to be that odd person out who might not be conforming with the rest of the group, and that can obviously cause problems within the team. So it's one of those things, and it's the same thing with uniforms. With public services, they're known for the uniforms. Fire service with their kit, police with the armour and the vests and the trousers and the hats, obviously. Paramedics, they glow in the dark with their vests, and then obviously the army with the camo, and then so on, and then with the berets and stuff. It's all uniform. That's conformity. It's all conformity because if you want to look the part and having all looking the same, it's all about conformity, making that relationship, bonding, and just bringing everyone together, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier to get on with everyone. Examples where conformity works within the public services, like I mentioned before, is the army, the police, when they bring in teams and they all similar people, all dressed the same, have the same ideas in their head. They all want to get on and help the public, and they all have that key thing, help the public, and that's all they want. It's all about conformity and having the related characteristics to come together and make that extra bond. Another one that I didn't mention was the firefighter. Their conformity as a group can be, they all want to be fit, because as a firefighter you have to be incredibly fit to keep up the demands of the job, and that's what most of the people who go into the fire service want to do, and who are already, that are incredibly fit or very keen in their fitness side and keeping fit. And that's another thing that makes them all come together. So when they go and have a session at the gym, and they have a session at the gym, they all want to achieve the best for each other, because if that person's slacking, it means they're going to be letting the team down when they come into a situation where they need that person to be the same strength as them or not as strong. You know, it's got to be, you know, I'd rather have someone big behind me than a small dude. It's something like that. Next slide is about why obedience is important in public services. Purely because it's like I said, it's a lot like conformity, but it's about taking orders and obeying by them. So conformity is being told what to do and going through with it, but obedience is more, you know, you do as you're told, simple as. And if we don't have obedience, like Brad mentioned earlier, you can be caused to have disciplinary action against you, because obviously if you've been told, maybe not in the army, maybe let's say paramedics, you've got to go on this job that you don't really want to do, and it's on a special night that you planned and you booked off, and you've been told that you need to be there. That's being obedient and going, because when it's a job like that and you're needed, you need to be there. And obviously the very good example is the forces, where if a higher ranking officer has been told, telling the private that you need to get down and do 10 push-ups, you need to do them straight away, or you need to go and do something that you don't really want to do, or go somewhere that you don't really want to be, and you're going to miss your family and friends, that you're going to have to do it, because that's obeying by the rules, the orders that you were given to. And obviously it's obviously about unwritten rules with obedience and conformity. Obviously about the authority thing, obviously it's in there where you have to respect the person who's above you, and it's all about that. Like I mentioned a few times, examples where obedience is so important is mainly in the forces, because if we didn't have obedience in any of the forces, it wouldn't work, because these people are told, they are stripped down, they're built up again, and they basically live on, oh sorry, my bad, and basically to get on what they're told. So if they have been moved to a base where they're quite happy and near home, and then suddenly they've got to go off to another Cyprus, for example, to go there, they're going to have to go, they're going to have to leave straight away. I mean, they might have like the next 2 weeks booked off. It's like we've heard some stories when we've had people come in and they've had like a whole holiday booked and they had to cancel it because it was a last minute thing that he or she's been shipped off to another country to do operation. That's taking orders and doing as you're told, so it's obedience yet again, and that's why obedience and conformity is so important in public services, because it makes it run so smoothly and efficiently. It's one of the key factors why we have such a good emergency services. Even though there's so many bad reports about it, it's still an amazing service that we have. Just to finish off our presentation, conclusion of about the conformity and obedience that we have, we've done a presentation on. Basically, conformity and obedience are such alike. They have so many similar points and they merge together, but then they have bits and bobs that just go everywhere else. I mean, having both of them work so well in public services makes it such a good service, and having that key thing where it brings people together. There we go. and brings people together and makes such a bond that it makes them such a tight unit and operation where it just runs so smoothly. And when they obviously come together and work together, that's all it's about. Public services is all about teamwork. Obviously there's independent things where you can go off and do your own thing, but most of the time, 90% of the time, it's all teamwork. Fire service, they all work with teams. Police, they go out in pairs most of the time. Army, they go in groups, and obviously independent work, obviously, same with anything. And then you've got prison service, they always go in pairs. It's always pairs, teams, and having that bond and making connections with people. It's all about it.
Having that respect for people as well.
Having that respect for everyone else.
And
So you work together and make such a better bond working together. And like I said, respect and taking orders from people who are high above, and it makes our service such a good working thing, all because of conformity and obedience, simply because of that. That is the end of our presentation of me and Rav.